If you go into the land claims, go and look at where our people are claiming land. There is always a river. Everywhere where our people are claiming land, the land is arable. It's a fertile land.
The one thing I wanted to mention, again, is something which was very curious when I researched about this, is that you remember that in 1913, when they were about to pass the act, right, the white people had to decide which land is going to be European. Because they couldn't just say 93% is going to be European and 7% is going to be native. They also had to decide which pieces of land. Now, if you look at the records of those decisions, they're most fascinating because they were looking at rain patterns. And they didn't know much about rain patterns. They were indigenous rain patterns, looking at where African people were following the flow of the rivers. Because they had realized over years, because black people had been farming for years and years, so over years they had started looking at rain patterns, looking at the flow of rivers. And those are the areas that had the greatest agricultural potential, such that in 1910, African farmers had the greatest agricultural yield in 100 years, 1910.
I don't want to be controversial or cause controversy, but we ought to ask ourselves certain questions. That why would a Zulu kingdom go and settle in Nongoma and leave all of that beautiful arable land of KwaZulu-Natal, but head office ya king, Ikwa, the driest place, everywhere where our kings are now. Harunyaka Khosh is associated with Thaba. Banyaka ingi Thabengi. What is there on a mountain? To do what?
The impact of colonialism was also to disrupt native indigenous systems of knowledge. And they just took away the knowledge system and they put it in the law. So they took them away from the areas that had the greatest potential for agricultural productivity. And that is how they decided which 7% goes to native people. It's not a surprise then that black people are concentrated in Transkei, others are concentrated in Ciskei, and you go there, the land can produce nothing. So it's all scientifically based.
I'm not saying anything, I'm just starting a debate and challenging you to go and check why dry so in the most beautiful land. Why Magosh Arna on the driest land and not on a fertile arable land? And why should kingdom and royalty be associated with rural areas, whereas the royalty and kingdomship of Britain is not associated with villages and rural? It's right at the center of London.
Black people need is more land. It's as simple as that. They need more land. They simply cannot sustain themselves with the land allocation that's been made available. They need more and more land. And so when they say black people need title deeds, that's again totally bogus, because you can't have a title deed over a shack. What you need a title deed over a decent place to live. And that's why the debate is always expand the living space, get more people into more land. This country, it's all a joke. This country has enough land to accommodate all of us. I mean, there are only 55 million of us. This country is 123 million hectares. 123 million hectares. So there's enough land to accommodate all of us. The only reason it's not doing so is because it's accommodating the how many? The 60,000 families. 60,000 families that control 72% of all commercial agricultural land. Now that level of concentration is unsustainable anywhere in the world. So there is actually an economic efficiency argument that if you have so much levels of concentration, there's simply no way that an economy can sustain itself. There will be an explosion at some point because there's too much concentration.